Tales from Earthsea is an anime movie that came out in 2006 and it's 1 hour and 55 minutes long. You can find it on Netflix. This movie is, as far as I can tell, made from the studio called Studio Ghibli. And they are very famous for making a lot of anime movies, such as maybe the most famous one, Princess Mononoke. And yeah, when you get to know that this movie is made by Studio Ghibli, I think you can clearly see from the animation that this is a Studio Ghibli movie. I think this movie is good. I will give it a 7 out of 10, nothing more, nothing less, and 4 out of 6 on the dice. Let's start with talking about the animation this time, because as mentioned, when you get to know that this is a Studio Ghibli movie, you can also see clearly from the animation that it resembles a typical Studio Ghibli movie. But even though the animation is very well known in the Studio Ghibli movies, I still think that this kind of art style is actually rather normal. And if I didn't know that this was a Studio Ghibli movie, I would not be sure after seeing it, because the art style of the movie is, for me, something I have seen in a lot of anime. And I wish they had even more details when it comes to facial art styles and maybe different clothing. There are many ways. A good example of a very special art style is, for instance, the anime called Berserk, which has a very unique and clear art style that you can resemble anytime. I can easily see that this is something for its own. So that is one of the things that actually, right from the beginning, Tales from the Earthsea could have done even better, having a more special art style. But the animation itself and the fluidity of the movement is rather good. And yeah, of course it could have been even better, but it's good. And yeah, you get fluid movement, and it looks nice and pretty. And also the backgrounds and the locations where the characters are moving and stuff like that looks nice. So here is where the Studio Ghibli studio is doing well, when they are making a universe and making it all look pretty, and they do have a lot of details when it comes to all the background stuff, the buildings, the grass, the animals, stuff like that. So as mentioned, I just wish they had put more details into the characters and stuff like that, yeah. So let's move on to the music, which is nice. A lot of the Ghibli movies have nice music and some pretty soundtracks and all that kind of stuff, but still, it could have been even better. I can't say that I have a single remarkable soundtrack that is going through my head now, right after I've seen the movie. They could have made it even better, but just like the animation, it's a total of it's an overall good section of the movie when it comes to the music. So yeah. Now for the main part, which is the plot. Of course, a good movie needs to have a good story, right? And Tales from Earthsea have a decent story. It's I think the 2/3 of the movie, the 2 first thirds, yeah, the 2 first parts of the movie are rather interesting. Of course, you have seen wizards before, and you probably have seen swordsmen and this medieval time and stuff like that. But still, there is something special when it comes to, well, where the story is going. It's kind of unpredictable. I kind of feel that they're gonna do something really special with the 2 first third of the movie. So that is good. And yeah, there are some interesting characters here, like, well, the main boy and the main man, without telling who they are. And there is a rather interesting evil person, but unfortunately, the last third of the movie fails to deliver this unique ending that I was kind of hoping for. It does have some surprising plot twists, maybe, but in the end it ends like you predict, and I kind of feel that's why the movie gets nothing more than a 7 out of 10, because it's a bit disappointing how the last third just goes on without having something unique happening. So that disappointed me a little. But I do, as mentioned, like the two first third of the movie, where they are moving around and you're seeing different locations and beautiful scenery, and you're getting introduced to characters. And let's move on to the characters, because often when you see a movie, I have a hard time to really start caring about them. Take for instance, let's say Lord of the Rings, they had 3 movies that lasted almost 3 hours. You get enough time to really care about Frodo and the gang. This movie is 1 hour and 55 minutes. I can't say that I really got this emotional about the characters, so that's why it could have been longer, you know. This could have been, actually, it could have been an anime series with 26 episodes or so. They could have made the story more fleshed out, and yeah. But, well, it's okay. The characters are okay. They're rather interesting, but nothing more. So, overall, enjoyment, the last part. I enjoyed the movie decently. It was absolutely worth watching, and it could have been better on in the cinema, where they have a large screen, and maybe that would have made a larger impact. But yeah, there's not so much more to say than well, okay, let's talk a bit about the action, because here is where the movie could have been even better. When they have some action scenes with both magic and swords play, the animation looks decent with fluid movements, but they could have made it even larger and more epic fights, maybe. There are various ways they could have done this. I feel like, just like many other Studio Ghibli's films that tend to get a lot of praise from people, they kind of go a bit safe around. I think that they don't take these huge chances that they could, maybe. So it's kind of safe. It's a kind of safe movie, this one. Which overall is, as mentioned, it's good, but it could have been better if they just took some chances, I think. It's based on a book, actually. Fun fact. Well, what else can I say? If you like anime, if you like Studio Ghibli, you're probably gonna watch this one, I think. And as mentioned, it's worth watching. But I'm pretty sure that you might end up like me after seeing it, just like, meh. Okay, movie, nothing more, nothing less. 7 out of 10, goodbye.